Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Chalk Talk here in the DK Pittsburgh Sports Steelers YouTube channel and DKPittsburghSports.com. Oh, Merry Christmas! It was a rough game. Pass coverage all over the place, busted coverages, missed assignments, no lack of communication, maybe even instances of guys going rogue. It was as bad of a performance as they've had all season. And they just so happen to do it against the most dangerous quarterback, and that's not a recipe for winning football. So let's dive into this. I got 10 plays dialed up, so I'm not going to break down each one too much. But Steelers started off with a lot of man coverage, and that's what you see here. And this isn't like anything overly egregious, but when you start talking about the details of the defense, What I like to see, and what the Steelers even do at certain times, you got man coverage here, so Elliott's on him, and Minka's on him. Okay, what you like to see is stuff that makes things easier for the defense. I understand, like stuff like banjo coverage might sound complicated to certain people, so instead of it just being as simple as okay, Elliott's got his guy, Minka's got his guy. Banjo coverage is whoever goes to the outside, Elliott will get because he's outside, and whoever goes to the inside, Minka will get because he's on the inside. That's what banjo coverage is. You cover the guy based off of where the guys go, not necessarily, and it's, again, sounds more complicated than it is. High school teams are doing this stuff. And they don't do that here, and the reason why is because offenses know how to manipulate straight-up man coverage. And you'll see Kelsey on the outside, even though he's lined up on the outside, he's going to come, he's going to sit down, and that's going to pick Minka from, and force him to have to go around. That's going to open things up for 83, whereas if they were banjoing this, then Elliott could go straight at 83, and Minka goes straight at Kelsey, and then it's a lot easier. But instead, they get the rub. You got to make it as easy as you possibly can, and giving up 7 yards here, again, it's not the end of the world, but make it easier for yourselves. But this is, like, of all the plays, this is probably the least egregious one. This is not even like a really bad play, but just little details that I like to see from defenses, like just me enjoying football. I like to see defense, whether it's offense or defense, I like to see teams making things easier for themselves. The Steelers aren't doing that on either side of the ball. This is just one way. Again, nothing egregious here. Everybody hit their assignments. It's just they got beat. Next play, this is just lack of communication here. It's bad. So this is cover one. You got the one safety back. This is man. So you got man on that side, and then over here you've got, this guy, and there are 3 eligibles on this side. You've got this tight end, and that running back, or it's actually not even a running back, it's Worthy. And so you got to figure it out, and what ends up happening at the snap is the 2 tight ends come out, and all 3 guys are all just staying there while Worthy just runs scot-free. That's got to be communicated at the line of scrimmage, and it's not. And you can see, and you're going to see this a lot. Hands on hips, right here. Deshaun Elliott. Hands in the air. What's going on? And Minka. You're going to see this. You're going to see a lot of this. That is not good stuff. That's not what you want to see on either side of the ball. But lots of miscommunication, lots of guys not knowing what the heck's going on, who was supposed to get what. This is stuff you can only get away with in week 1, week 2. I mean, you can see Elliott. Elliott is pointing all over the place, but Elliott is the only guy that actually points at Worthy. It's like somebody's got to get him. We got, a tight end here, a tight end there. We got to make sure he's picked up too. Somebody's got to get him. Whether they're banjoing this or whether this is straight up like, okay, 39's on 83, 25's on 87, and 6 is on 1. Well, okay, what if 1 runs a swing pattern? Well, then Minka, that would be your guy, and then Elliott would get the guy in the middle, and then Queen would get the guy who breaks to the inside. Again, this has got to be communicated. It's either straight up man or they're banjoing this. Minka will get the outside guy, Elliott will get the guy in the middle, and then Queen will get the guy who breaks to the inside. This has got to be communicated, and it's not. One guy goes scot-free to the outside, Minka can't get over there in time, touchdown. It's that easy. When you don't communicate, when there's lack of communication, when there's confusion, it's that easy. It's not that these are bad football players. There's something amiss. They've reverted back to, as Mike Tomlin like to say, September ball. You can't have this at this time of the year. It shouldn't have even been happening really at the NFL level, but miscommunication happens. Guys don't know, are we banjoing this? Are we covering? Straight up man. This is the kind of stuff that has to be worked out by the time December rolls around. Next play. This one I really wanted to show because obviously it's a big hitter for the Chiefs. It was like a 49-yard gain. But I have this one in here because I constantly get a lot of comments on either anything I write or just communicating with fans or readers on our site about like, the Steelers need to go away from zone. Like, they don't need to be running zone anymore. Stop with this Tampa 2 and cover 3. Like, run more man. Okay, well, you want man coverage. Here's what it looks like. Now, granted, Joey Porter Jr. is not out here. He was injured, so he didn't play, and he's their best man coverage corner. But this is what happens. They got 3 receivers going out, and they got a running back deep. Or they got a running back coming out of the flat. So, and this is cover 1. You got 1 safety back deep, and he's playing. The safety will shade to the strength of the formation. And also understand that Kelsey's right there. So, you're going to kind of shade the safety over there, and they're kind of disguising this as cover 2. This ends up being cover 1. And just look, okay, Queen's kind of, he's got his running back, okay, in the flat. This is open. This is open. This is open. Everybody's open. They're playing man coverage. Everybody got their guy. There's no miscommunication there. They're just getting beat. Straight up beat. I didn't put the end zone view in here, and I wish I would have, because if you see this separation right here, that is, as people like to say in football, WAO, wide A open. That is as open as you're going to get. Same here. Even if Mahomes doesn't hit that, Jackson's going to keep running with him, and if he hits this crosser right there, he catches this, and there is, KZ getting over there in time. I don't know about that. You pretty much got KZ and Jackson back, and that's it. Either way, this is going to be a massive play. Either way. Or he hits that to Worthy, who's running past Minka, and at least you have the safety back, but it's still going to be a massive play. But here, there's no safety help over the top, which is why Mahomes hits that, and he throws him a perfect ball. But everybody was open. It wasn't just Jackson. You're like, oh, Dante Jackson. No, everybody was open. Everybody. Oh, boy. Okay, next play. Touchdown. All too easy. Again, this is, you start to see, we're starting to see, Cam Sutton here. He's going to communicate with, I think that's Pierre. Is that Pierre? Yeah, it's Pierre. So one way you can kind of tell it's man coverage, usually, don't have both outside corners on one side of the formation. If so, you're in some sort of man coverage. And so they're communicating, Worthy starts coming in motion, and he comes back. So they're going to try to communicate that. All right, I'll say, are we banjoing this? And so they do. They banjo this. And so it looks like Sutton, he's going to take whatever guy goes this way, or he's going to take whatever guy goes this way. But if both guys run out breaking routes, which they do, he's running a corner, he runs an out, then one guy's got to take the deep guy, and one guy's got to take the underneath guy. And so that ends up happening. Pierre's got the better, at least when it comes to inside leverage, he's got the inside leverage there, and so he starts running with him. Sutton picks him up. But the problem is that the one deep safety, I don't know what he's doing. He's not reading because Mahomes is looking in this direction. The safety is just kind of barely kind of meandering his way. It's too late now. No safety help over the top. Receiver gets outside leverage. He's running a corner route. Way too easy. Just way too easy. All right. So this one, this is, again, you're going to see miscommunication here. Watch pre-snap here. And again, all that happens here, receiver moves and then he comes right back. And watch what happens. Like, seriously, watch what happens. This kind of formation, when you see this kind of a triangle here, that usually means that they're going to banjo this, like this little triangle here. That usually means it's going to be they're going to banjo this in some sort of way. But watch what happens. Like, look at the just utter confusion. Like, the guy moves the most, and Sutton starts pointing that way. He's like, okay, Trice, you get him. Sutton's like, okay, and now we're going to, and then he starts moving back. Trice starts pointing again, and like, they're not ready. They're not ready. By the time the ball snapped, they're just not ready. They don't know who's getting what, who's doing what. And then I don't like Sutton's approach here. I don't. Like, he starts running this out route, and he gets pretty flat real quick. He's not bending this way too far. He gets pretty flat pretty quickly, and Sutton just continues to kind of bend. Like, you kind of got. Let me change colors to better illustrate this. So you got this guy. He's kind of running. He kind of bends this, and then Sutton, he's kind of gonna take this really wide. I really don't like that. You give him too much space. I understand you want to keep that leverage in case he does catch. You want to make sure he doesn't get behind you. But whatever happened to putting a foot in the ground and sprinting and trying to attach to the hip there? Like, that doesn't happen. So, not a fan of the coverage. And then, again, that communication stuff. This is the kind of stuff, that right there, hands on the hips, that you don't like seeing that stuff on film. You just don't. It's not good. So Steelers, as the game kept going along, they started going to more of their cover 3 stuff, and this is what the Chiefs kind of expect. The Steelers run cover 3. They run middle field. They run middle field closed more than anybody in the league. Steelers run cover 3. Either, I don't remember the exact percentage, but they are absolutely near the top of running cover 3. So you got your deep thirds. He's going to get this deep third. Got the one safety here in the middle, and then he's getting this deep third. So the problem here with cover 3 is that there are a number of different holes for cover 3, and one of them is up the seam, and you're going to see that in just a little bit. But also, whenever you get this where you have guys who are going to be in the flat, I mean, Elliott ends up defending 2 guys because he kind of does this and he breaks to the inside, but then you got this guy running to the flat here. So Elliott is forced to kind of stay more in the flat area because he's got this curl flat zone right here, but he has to kind of respect the flat a little bit more because he had to take on this receiver first, and then this tight end comes out into the flat, and so he's got to defend that. Meanwhile, instead of this being a corner route, it's actually an out route. And when you talk about, deep thirds, and then you talk about, this is your typical cover 3 right there. I mean, you got this window wide open right there. I mean, that's just wide open, and look where Mahomes hits it. Now, I don't know if they're coached up to do this. I just hate how deep. Not as much when it comes to the corners and for their deep thirds, but look how far back the safety is. I mean, he goes all the way back inside of his own 25-yard line. I mean, he's taking himself out of the play at that point. There is nothing that he's doing that's helping there. So this is the play up the seam that I was talking about. This is another thing where if you find teams who know how to attack cover 3, they're going to get you. they're going to get you. So this was 2nd and 14. The Steelers and Chiefs had just traded field goals. It's 16-10. The Chiefs get the ball. They're moving backwards. They're inside their own 20 now. The crowd's starting to feel it like, okay, we might be able to come back. They get 2nd and 14, and then they hit this 17-yard gain. I think this might have been one of the most deflating plays of the game because, again, they're moving backwards. Momentum seems to be swinging in your favor. The offense is starting to get its mojo going a little bit, and then this happens. Again, you got your cover 3. So I'm going to actually use the actual circles here. So you got your cover 3. You got your deep thirds. You got your flat. You got your hook curls. And you got your curl flat. Okay. So this corner's getting this. This safety's got here. This corner's getting this. Queen is going to get this hook curl zone. Elliott is staying in this zone right here. Okay. There is a window right here. Like right all along here. Actually, I'm going to use a different color so you can see. There is a window right here. And it's pretty much just, you can say up the seam, you can say in between the hook curl right here and then the curl flat. But either way, teams know how to attack this. And I'm going to leave the telestration up there and you can see where exactly this ball ends up being caught. Bam, right in that window. I mean, it just, you get teams who know how to attack this stuff. They're going to attack it. Right in that window. Right up the seam. Easy 17 yards. Especially, again, like this safety, he's got no chance to do anything playing that far back. I mean, he is at the 37-yard line. The line of scrimmage is at the 18. He is 20 yards away from the line of scrimmage. I don't. What good is that other than being able to make a tackle there? There's no good there. All right, this one's bad. I don't know for sure, so I'm not gonna just go out on a limb and try to say, oh, I know this is what's happening for sure. But this is definitely cover 1. I know that for sure. You got man. Elliott is the one who ends up going back and being the deep safety here. Queen rushes and Sutton rushes. Like they blitz. I don't know. And then Wilson ends up covering the running back. Somebody's got to cover this guy right here. By the way, if you don't know, that's number 87. His name is Travis Kelce. He's dating Taylor Swift. He's a pretty popular guy. Not only is he dating Taylor Swift, but he's also a future Hall of Fame tight end, first ballot. He gets left wide open. WAO. To me, especially based off of the body language that happens after the play, I really do not think Sutton is supposed to be blitzing here. I really think that Queen is supposed to be coming on some sort of a delay blitz. Because they are definitely disguising this. Because they're disguising this as Minka being the deep safety here. He's not. Deshaun comes all the way back, and he ends up being the deep safety. I'm going based off of what I'm seeing. I don't know for sure, and I haven't had any players confirm this. But I don't think Sutton is supposed to be blitzing here. Whether he thinks that he is, or if he just flat out goes rogue and he's like, screw this, I'm just going to blitz. You really hope, because Queen, like, as soon as he kind of sees, like, anybody who's watched film this year, Queen looks like a shot out of a cannon whenever he's blitzing. And to me, that is not shot out of a cannon. That is delay blitz. And then he stops really quickly. But either way, I mean, just, my God. That is atrocious. And this is why. So look at Queen. Immediately turns around. You get the hands in the air. What's going on? You get Minka. He's doing the same thing. Deshaun Elliott gets up. He puts his hands up. And then all three. Okay, here is the freeze frame of the entire session right here. They're all looking in this direction. And they're all just like, what in the heck are we doing? Bad. It's bad stuff. It's bad football. Another miscommunication here. Travis Kelce, again, gets just left completely wide open. Again, man coverage here. This is not like some sort of busted zone. And Queen, like you're seeing, he's pissed. He's like, I'm communicating this. Now, I don't know. All I know is at the beginning of this play, watch Landon Roberts here. Watch his head just go around and like he's looking around and he's moving around. And he thinks he's got the running back. And I mean, I'm seeing Queen. I'm trying to watch what Queen's doing. Yeah, again, there's miscommunication all over the place here. And again, I don't think this is a one-player issue. Like, I don't think, like, a lot of people are like, oh, this is a Minkah problem or this is a Cam Sutton problem. And while I do think Cam Sutton has been pretty awful, and we're not even done seeing how bad he's been so far, this really is issues all over the place. This is a little bit of actual schematics, but just overall miscommunication. Guys not knowing where to go, who to cover. And then just guys just flat out not doing their job. All it takes is just a little bit. And this is one time guys just not doing his job. Steelers are in cover 2 here. And Travis Kelce, again, just left wide open. I mean, wide open. So I'm seeing some people blame Minkah for this one because he's the deep safety on that half of the field. I don't think it's Minkah. You get a corner route over here. He's responsible for a deep half, and that's the deep route there at that point. Like, he is reacting literally to the deep route. So he's got to cover because, I mean, you got those 5 guys are right there. To me, this is not Tampa 2. If this were Tampa 2, Patrick Queen would be a little further back and kind of be a little deeper than that. This looks like just more straight up cover 2. I mean, you got your 5 zones underneath, and it just looks like here, 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 and here, while you have this deep half and this deep half. And the reason why, so, like, again, you get this corner route, Minkah has to jump on that. He has to. If he doesn't, Mahomes can hit that. Because he can't just, at this point, he can't assume that Kelce's going to be coming up the seam here. So he has to take that corner route because Kelce's still down here. I saw some people being like, oh, well, Minkah, what's he covering, the pylon? Like, no, he's covering that corner route there. So it's not him. Let's go to Queen here. Queen is reading. Okay, he's in his zone. Okay, so number 9, that's Juju. He's coming into his zone here, and this is zone defense 101 here. Guy comes into your zone, you cover him, but then you also can see, okay, well, he's running a crosser there, running in that direction. I know, I can see, you got peripheral vision here. I can see Peyton Wilson's there. He's running. I'm going to pass him off, especially because Mahomes is now starting to come out of the pocket. So then Queen, at that point, I mean, what's he going to do? I mean, there's literally nobody else here. Sutton needs to be able to see that. He sees Kelce, and Sutton just automatically assumes that Minkah is back here. Because look at where Sutton is now, and he doesn't get any deeper. And here's a good example of why I think this is on Sutton. Look at Dante Jackson. Dante Jackson is responsible for anything in the flat here, like up here. But he knows, okay, well, there's nobody in this vicinity right here. Like, there's nobody there. So me staying down in this zone does nothing. So I'm going to start to sink back a little bit more to help tighten that window between the flat and the deep safety. That is a window that is consistently picked apart at this level, or really at all levels. That's one of the weaknesses of cover 2 is the window between the curl flat defender on the outside and the deep safety. Let me get the red back out. It's this window right here. It's underneath. And so what Jackson does is he kind of sinks back a little bit more. Sutton needs to see that there's nobody down here. So staying right here does nothing. You have to kind of latch on to whatever Kelsey does at this point because you're the closest defender to him, and instead just sits down, does nothing. I'm sorry, but that is 100% on Cam Sutton. And it's a shame. And again, I'm really not blaming just one guy here. I do think one of the biggest problems right now is that Cam Sutton's just not playing good football. But at the same time, communication issues have really crept up over the last 2 or 3 weeks. And over that time, Cam Sutton has played more and more and more, and Beanie Bishop has played less and less and less. So I can't just assume that it's just a coincidence. I can't assume that. The communication issues have been horribly, completely terrible, especially over these last 2 weeks, these 2 games against the Chiefs and the Ravens. And Sutton, this game, Beanie Bishop played no defensive snaps whatsoever. And you get stuff like this happening. So I think that there's a correlation there. I also think it's not just one guy. This is a little bit of schematics, but this is overall just complete lack of communication. Even if it just takes one guy not doing his job. This play right here, it's just one guy not doing his job. Queen does his job. He's covering that guy. That guy starts running. He passes him off. This safety, he's responsible for that deep half. He's got a corner route. He jumps on that. Everybody's doing their job except for one guy. That's all it takes for somebody to be WAO. That's all that I got to say for this one, man. Long video. Sorry about that, but bad stuff. See you next time. Catch you on the flippity flip.